show. Coming up a little bit later this morning, Sublime will not only be in the studios, but they'll be world premiering a KROQ exclusive brand new song you will only get right here. Think of every place on the planet. The only place you'll get the song, Allie, is right here on KROQ. It's a big deal for us, the long relationship we've had with Sublime, and the fact that Bradley's son has now taken over the lead vocal duties. Mm-hmm. And if you saw them at Coachella or just saw footage of that's been going all over the place, it almost feels poetic and like it was meant to be.
Yeah,
something
I know.
about it.
It was really beautiful.
We'll get through ADD news in just a moment. We got a lot of people that have a lot of thoughts about what we just dealt with on the show. And hold on one second. Let's get into your news right now. Here she is to break it down. El Cheapo herself, Allie Johnson.
Grab your Adderall. It's time for ADD News. Here's Cheapo.
All right, who is there for you when no one else isn't, especially when you're drunk leaving a concert? It's street vendors. Whether it's a bacon-wrapped hot dog or any other food truck, food cart, or fruit stand, they are a huge part of the fabric of Southern California, and they have had a rough year. The pandemic obviously was hard, but then there was that big freeway fire on the 10 that destroyed a bunch of food carts, and then they also changed the requirements for permits. That was really difficult for food vendors to get new permits and be able to operate. And now they have just changed an ordinance to make it easier for these street vendors to get permits, and they're even going to waive the $600 application fee for 1,000 of them. So for the over 50,000 food vendors here in the city, this is a huge win for them, and they're really excited about getting back out on the street and filling your stoned stomach with goods.
Let me say, when I've ordered or eaten a bacon-wrapped hot dog that I bought from a cart made out of tinfoil and shoeboxes outside of a venue, I've never once asked for or looked for any sort of a permit. Never thought about it.
But it's really important that they do have permits because they were starting to crack down on some of the places that didn't have them. And now they're trying to make it easier for them to get, safe food permits. Because some street vendors, they're not really going through a lot of the proper channels, and you might get sick and stuff like that. So they were kind of making it harder because they wanted to make sure that the food was safe to eat. But now they're making sure it's safe while still making it easy for them to get them.
The funny thing is, if I go into a restaurant and they've got a B or a C in the window, I'll think twice about going in the restaurant.
See, I don't even notice that when I walk into a restaurant.
That I notice. But the guy that's clearly using his hands to roll hot dogs outside of a concert.
Yeah, but wouldn't it make you feel better now that you would be walking out of a show and knowing that all of them are equally not going to make you sick?
I think it's the gambler in me. I like the risk. I kind of like the risk factor. I know it's going to be...
I like the Ritz and you like the risk.
I know it's going to be delicious, but I also know that if I can make it through the night without getting violently ill, it's like I got one more win.
Yeah, but I bet it's scary for the food vendors to be like, if anybody decides to crack down tonight, then they might take my cart away, and then getting a new cart is tough.
I guess, but if they do get the permits, then they need to lock down the prices because it does feel
Yeah, that would be a good point.
Their prices are very how hungry does this person look and desperate? Okay, it's $25 for a bacon-wrapped hot dog. And you're like, wait, what? And
then you're like, all right.
You take Zelle? Okay. Cash App. Here we go, baby.
So yesterday I told you that the Borg is back. It's the blackout rage gallons where you fill in a gallon jug with booze. But there's another new drinking trend of the summer that they said younger generations are getting really into, and it's called the wine rave, where rave culture meets wine appreciation. And as a former raver, Omar, I wonder how you feel about this, because if you don't want to do wine tasting at a winery where a sommelier lectures you about how the grapes felt when they were crushed, you can go to a rave and get a wine flight while then going on the dance floor and getting pummeled by strobe lights and sick beats.
Omar, what are your thoughts?
Is there ecstasy in the wine?
I think just pure tannins.
Omar, turn your music down. We can't hear you.
This is actually a Pinot Gris, and the grapes were in Mendocino, but then we have a little bit of the grapes from
It's got
Temecula
excellent
as
legs.
well.
Look at those legs.
Yeah, it seems like an unnecessary...
But the odd combination is what people kind of like about it.
Wine makes you super hot. I'm hot enough at a rave, dancing my ass off. I don't know why that is a good mix.
I also feel like wine is the one where if you really slosh around and dance hard, you're going to throw up.
Yeah, probably.
Totally. Yeah.
So I think for those
Bad
reasons,
mix.
I'm out.
All right.
What auction are you more excited about, Klein? Saturday Night Fever dance floor or the slew of Snoop Dogg memorabilia that's coming out,
I heard
including one of his roaches.
Yeah, he's auctioning off one of his roaches that
Yeah.
he actually smoked.
There's a couple of big auctions going on right now. So the dance floor from Saturday Night Fever is supposed to get like $300,000, and then there's the vintage bowling shirt and plaid shorts combo that was worn by Jeff Bridges as the dude in The Big Lebowski.
Oh,
I
that's
think
interesting.
They think that's going to get around $100,000. But then you have the big Snoop auction. So he is auctioning off signed scripts, writer lists, set lists, death row chains, and he's going to sign like PlayStations. He also has like a bunch of stuff from his closet that he's going to be auctioning off, and a first ever authenticated Snoop Dogg roach that was, quote, preserved in resin in Snoop's personal ashtray to display for eternity. And it's currently only bidding for $50, but of course it's going to get way more than
I feel
that.
like
Does
everyone.
Snoop need the money? Like,
No.
Snoop is always doing something, isn't he?
The guy is
it's crazy.
He's probably got a very expensive lifestyle, but it does feel like he's involved in a lot of things and a lot of brands. And isn't he the new judge on The Voice or something like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, that's right,
The
yeah.
guy's got a lot of money coming in, a lot of rev streams. He's always working on stuff. And I met Snoop a few times, and every time I've smoked with him, and every time I think I've kept the roach in my pocket.
Really?
Yeah, so I don't know.
Are you serious?
But you said I can only resell those for $50?
No, that's the bid,
Oh.
but it's going to get way more than that.
Let's
but it
hope
has to be
so.
authenticated. That's the difference, Klein.
I just
You
always-
can hold up any roach clip and say Snoop smoked this.
Yeah, that's what you should do.
Didn't you smoke with Snoop, but then you were like, you couldn't keep up? You thought you were on another planet or something?
Yeah, it was too much.
Well, I mean, think about
And
how
you had to be on the air, right?
I didn't want to come across like a pussy. No, I was supposed to go on the stage and introduce the Lumineers, but I got too high with Snoop, and then I got really freaked out walking to the stage, and I was like, the last thing I want to do is go. And then the guy yelled at me because I went on the wrong staircase onto the stage.
Oh
And
my
I
God,
had like a
they
full
are
on-
intense
I
too.
had
Those
like
guys.
a full-on panic, and I was like, let them introduce themselves. I can't do it. We get into a brand new hour of the show in just a moment. Rage all over the phones right now. People are heated. We'll get into all that and world premiere with Sublime in studio later this morning. That's all happening. But first, this.
The world famous KROQ.
Klein Alley Show.
Klein Alley Show.
KROQ.
Hey, Rock Klein Alley Show. A very exciting morning. You feel the energy in the air. That's because Sublime will be stopping in the studio in about an hour. World premiere, KROQ exclusive, a brand new song with the vocal stylings of a Bradley Knoll in the song. Which is crazy because, his son Jacob's now taken over the lead duties of Sublime, but to release a song that he is on and his father's on, it's amazing. And all I can think about is like LeBron wanting to play long enough so that he could potentially be in the NBA with his son at the same time. There's some very interesting thing about all of this, and I can't wait for Sublime to break it all down and play you a brand new song that's coming up next hour on the show, plus the return of the Dank Tank. If you got high deals, we'll turn them into high profit and get you some tickets to see Sublime as part of the No Values Tour. But first, your news. Here we go.
Grab your Adderall. It's time for ADD News. Is that barbecue sauce? No, it is not.
So it's been 7 months since Matthew Perry died, and it was a rough thing to process for a lot of people who were close to him and for people who were just big fans. But
Not
now,
me. He was on my enemy list.
okay. But still, it was tough to process Matthew Perry going out.
I was
like that.
shocked, yeah. Like everyone, I was shocked.
Why was
but
he on your enemy list again?
He C-blocked
Oh,
me.
that's right, at the
and-
Playboy Mansion.
Yeah, and he took a girl away from me and said, would you like to
'Cause
be
she
my
was-
friend,
Yeah,
is what he
'cause
said
she was
to
like,
her.
are you the guy from Friends? And he was like, I'll be your friend.
Yep, and then I never saw her again.
Yeah. So now they've just announced an interesting twist that they are doing a criminal investigation into his death to determine how he got the ketamine that was found in his system. As you remember, when they released the cause of death, it was due to ketamine being in his system. And the LAPD and the DEA are now looking into how he got so much ketamine in his system and how he got it in the first place. And I think this is going to uncover a lot of weird stuff going on in the, quote, ketamine therapy world, because there's a lot of ketamine therapy that is, I don't think, really being regulated. And it's like, hey, this is going to help you. I'll just give you a little bit of Special K, and you're going to trip a little bit, and then we'll talk about your problems, and you're going to be okay. And especially for people like Matthew Perry who have addiction issues, that can be a real slippery slope, and you don't know how much you're giving a person.
There's a lot of unofficial medicine being practiced, and some of it is
It's
really
so
helpful to people.
dangerous.
But I know a guy that said that he was dealing with a serious depression, went to some weirdo's house in Topanga Canyon. They wrapped this person in a blanket and gave him a concoction of tea and mushrooms and Molly or something, and the person said they never felt better. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know
of
what's
course
going
there
on.
are success stories like that, but then for a lot of other people, like I know a friend of mine who did ketamine therapy and she tripped balls and went to a place that she was not ready to go and it really effed her up.
Cool.
So you don't really know what's going to happen because they're drugs.
Jake, did you do your annual thing where you take a bunch of mushrooms and sit in the closet?
I haven't done it yet. I've been putting it off.
Yeah, I think you're not in a
Why?
good place to do that. I think until your relationship gets a little bit more stable, I think that would probably.
I should do it now when it's the worst.
Okay.
Why?
I think
What's your reasoning there?
Jake does the thing every year where he takes I think a handful of mushrooms and sits in a dark closet for like a day.
Doesn't have to be a closet, but it just has to be somewhere like calm.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Like your room alone?
Yes.
Where you always are?
Yeah, I don't
Yes.
think. Jake, I'm trying to please this year. Don't do it.
I got to.
I
Great.
think
Then
it's
put a
something that
microphone
really,
in there.
but Jake is somebody who it really works for him.
I don't think it
I don't
does,
think
though.
life is working for him,
No.
but this works for him.
Yeah, Jake, I think this year you take a pass on that. That's my advice. Okay.
Let's do it together.
Oh my God, dude.
Come on,
and
Mushroom
live
Bros.
stream it. I would love it.
That is,
Mushroom Bros!
That is my idea of hell. Sitting in a closet with Jake on mushrooms. Oh my God.
He said it doesn't have to be a closet. You could actually be in the trunk of his
It
Dillmobile.
wouldn't matter if
Yeah,
we were
we can
in.
trunk.
You could just be alone here in the studio.
Or we can go to the woods, dude.
It wouldn't matter if we're in
Oh.
SoFi Stadium. It's not big enough.
Guys, just do a really rough trip and do a Showtime podcast.
Great. Now I'm in. If we're getting content out of it, I'm in.
All right, if you were to guess the average screen time of a teenage girl, what would be your hours per day guess? This is just on your phone.
3 hours, 24 hours a day.
So they did
No. It's 27 hours.
27 hours a day.
Yeah.
too many.
8 days a week.
Okay.
There it is.
Yeah, so you brought it back and now it's funny again. So they did a study and they determined that the average for teenage girls for being on their phones was just under 6 hours a day, and that at least 4 of those hours was being spent on social media only. And if you think to yourself, wow, that sounds really low, and
does sound low.
my screen time is probably more than that, it's probably because this study was done in Finland, where everybody is super happy, and I don't think it's a really great judge of the rest of the world. And I imagine if they were to do this study in America, the numbers would be a lot different. But if you think about how, like, if you look at your screen time right now per day, what is it?
I already got the alert. I'm up every month I'm up 28%. I don't know how it keeps climbing, but it is.
It's way over 100.
It just never has gone down. It's like this month you're up again.
But so it'll also break down like how much of it is information and reading versus social media versus productivity and finance.
My
and,
daily average is 7 hours and 27 minutes.
Whoa, seriously?
And I'm up 15% from last week.
Mine is 2 hours and 3 minutes.
Yeah, I guess I'm on this way too much.
But
I
as
also
an
am
adult, you feel like you're on your phone more because you're buying things, you're answering emails, you're checking your finances. Like there are a lot of reasons for an adult to be on their phone and a lot of the phone stuff I'm doing is work related. But for teenagers, it's all social media.
I'm just chatting with teenage girls from Finland. So I don't know why it's taking so much time, but apparently
Such a language barrier.
Yeah, just because I'm not great at English. That's the problem.
And then finally, a quick update on that psycho zombie driver from last week. You remember the one who took that white van on a police chase and she slammed it in all those cop cars, did donuts on the freeway. And
How
then
could you forget?
They took her out of the car and she had blood all over her face and she was a big butch lesbian. Well, they're finding out a little bit more about her, and they found that earlier this month she had made some weird cryptic posts on her Facebook comparing herself to Tupac and Eminem and saying that she's being victimized by overwhelming fans, and then warned everybody expect to suffer physical bodily harm up to death or attempted murder on the roads, and adding references to Princess Diana. So she clearly was losing it days beforehand. It wasn't just like a split-second weird psychotic break.
On that cheerful note, let's get into a brand new hour of the show.
Klein Alley Show.
We did it. So I just want to let you know that you guys are my favorite thing. You guys get me through the day. I appreciate you guys. I feel like I had something else to say, but I'm a little high, so I forgot. But
They call me the barman.
106.7 KROQ FM in HD Pasadena, Los Angeles, Orange County. This is the world famous KROQ.
It's KROQ, 8 o'clock on a Wednesday morning.
I had to think about that for a minute,
I
didn't you?
almost got the day wrong 3 different times. In
This week has been bad for me.
In my
actually.
head, I was thinking
Bad.
Thursday, and then I said, no, it's got to be Friday.
Yeah.
And then I go, that's impossible. But I am in a good mood. The reason is because we're very excited. Usually I feel this level of excitement on a Friday, but I'm feeling it today because Sublime will be in the KROQ studios in less than 1 hour time. They got a brand new song. The only place on the planet you will get the song is right here on KROQ. And listen, it'll be exciting because I've never had the opportunity to chat with a band that has been, as far as I'm concerned, soundtrack to most of my life, but also I would argue anyone who is from Southern California, grew up here, has lived here for some amount of time. I don't know if there's a band that so perfectly encapsulates the SoCal vibe, KROQ.
And the summer vibe. Summer in Southern California.
Perfect storm, sublime. And we'll be celebrating coming up just after 9 o'clock today with the return of the Dank Tank. So if you have a high idea, you can actually pitch it to us and Sublime. And maybe they invest their actual money. That's a band that's got some money, so who knows? We'll get into that coming up a little bit later this hour. I'm Klein. There's Allie.
Hi.
Got DJ Omar Khan right there.
Hey.
Got Jake the Nerd. Postmaster Johnny in the back taking your calls with Vanessa, accepting your handwritten notes. 800-520-1067 to call or to text. Text line been very active today, mostly with people sending in some PSAs to help the elderly.
There's so many other good ones coming
I know.
through on the
We'll
text
have
line.
to,
We can't be done.
We'll give our favorites and release them. Maybe we can see if Sublime wants to record a little jingle so we can have the official PSA for the elderly. Speaking of the elderly, on our phone right now. Hello, who's this?
Hello,
Yes?
this is Secondhand Cindy.
Secondhand Cindy.
Yay!
Second, hey Cindy.
Secondhand Cindy, we've been waiting to hear from you. Last we talked to you, you were decorating your car. How'd it go?
Oh my gosh. I Googled KROQ on the map and it told me it was open 24 hours. And I'm like, well, it's got to be. It's a radio station, right? And it took me to Pasadena.
Oh, yeah. KROQ hasn't been there
yeah.
for probably 20 years.
Isn't that a Kaiser now?
No, that's the one in Venice. The Pasadena was like the original KROQ, I believe. I mean, I don't, Omar, you'd know more about the history than I would, but I mean, that was a location, many locations ago. The Pasadena one, I can't even keep up with it. So you went all the way to the old location of KROQ?
Well, I tried to get there, but every time I would go, I ended up at a dead end up in the hills. And I'm like, wait a minute.
So you had decorated the car and you were trying to come by KROQ and show it to us?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So
yes.
what
And
is the decoration you have on your car now?
Now I took them off.
Oh.
But I did try-
What?
well, this was... I took them off. I mean, I drove around Pasadena. Don't get me wrong. They all saw the truck in Pasadena.
See, Secondhand Cindy really wants nothing more than for this show to be a big success. I believe it's her dying wish. Isn't it true, Secondhand Cindy?
You believe what?
It's your dying wish for this show to be a big success?
Yes.
Yes. And
It is. I mean,
she knows that this is the week that Jake is going to finally peel all of the Klein Alley Show stuff off his car because he served his punishment, and she wants to make sure that we continue to get some support. So she decided to decorate her own car to help spread the word about this show. It's a beautiful, I mean, really, everything about this is a beautiful thing that you're doing. We can't thank you enough, but you drove it to the wrong place.
I know. I had it decorated pretty good. I sent Allie a couple of pictures, but basically balloons all over the place. My horn is out, so I bought one of those really irritating loud ones, you put on a bike or something.
Really?
The ones that go...
Yeah.
One of these?
Yes.
I love that. Hey, look, anything you can do to help spread the word about the show. Cindy, we love you. That's Secondhand Cindy, also known as Champagne Cindy. She's officially a member of the AA Avengers here at KROQ.
She's spreading the word about the show.
Spreading the word about the show. Secondhand Cindy, we love you.
Are great.
Okay. Is that your phone or your throat? What's making all that noise?
It's my throat. I'm having a smoke and a glass of wine.
Okay.
Oh, great. Good
should.
for you.
8:05 on a Wednesday morning, KROQ.
Klein. Alley.
Chef.
KROQ. Klein Alley Show. KROQ.
Everyone is very excited this morning here at KROQ. Understandably, Sublime in the building. They will be in the studio in moments, and they're going to world premiere and KROQ exclusive a brand new song with Bradley Knoll. It's been a while, and his son Jacob now taking over the lead vocals of the band. How long will that be lasting for? We got lots of questions, lots of good hang time with Sublime, and we're opening up the Dank Tank. Your high ideas could become high profit. Sublime will be in to help judge the Dank Tank and award some tickets to go see them at the No No Values tour, which is happening. So all that in the very near future here at KROQ. But first, a look at your news.
Grab your Adderall. It's time for ADD News. I can already feel myself getting dumber.
All right, EDC in Vegas is a huge, huge event. Over 500,000 people attend it every year. The average price of a ticket this year is around $900, but you can find some that are as low as $375. But more importantly, a screenshot of EDC Vegas's drink prices have people very upset, but not if you're down to pay $90 for a 6-pack of water. And that seems like a lot, but it is smart water. Or you could pay $140 for a 6-pack of Bud Light. On the high end, if you wanted to spring for a bottle of Dom, you would be paying $42,000 for that. Or if you want to go real high end, you could get the notorious EDC package, which is a 6-liter bottle of Dom and a 6-liter bottle of Dom Rosé for $94,000. And by the way, IV services are also available for purchase upon request.
Well, that's the perfect storm of price gouging because you got a festival, which is already, high, and then you got Vegas. And then you have...
So you're going... In these situations, you're always at a table getting bottle service, right? It's not like you're going up to... if you're going up to a bar...
You can't just walk up and order a bottle of Dom P if you're a general admission. This is VVVIP.
So then if you're going to an actual bar in some of these places, what do you think the average price of a drink would be? $25? $30?
That sounds about right. 25. But a bottle...
But then why do you think people just do drugs and go...
Cheaper.
It's like,
cost effective.
Like, okay, I'm going to pay, $40 or whatever for some drugs. I'm just going to do those. And then I don't need to A, wait in line, or B, break the bank.
I get it. But that's, they also know that they're not going to sell a lot of these, but they almost get more attention just by releasing these crazy prices.
Yeah, but if you're definitely going to get people that are buying the notorious EDC package.
There's people that just helicopter in because the traffic is so bad. And those are the type of people they're catering to.
Yeah, and the people who want to show off or they have a potential for getting laid, and they're like, oh, this bottle's empty. And they're like,
and
I
don't know if you guys have ever been, but it is an amazing time.
Why?
It really is like you're in another world. You're just vibing out with people that are like-minded, and the music's amazing. You got the best DJs in the world and producers in the world right there. It's amazing, and the production is by far hands down the best ever.
I was watching a lot of it on TikTok. The optics between what's going on in the
How
sphere.
How much was
that? $6,000 for me to look at the TikTok feed. But between the optics at the EDC and then what's happening at the sphere with the data there, everyone in Vegas is going to start having random seizures because it's just too much stuff.
It's so much stimulation.
It's a lot of
overstimulation.
Yeah.
Jake really wants a seizure. Cool.
Yeah, Jake would be. Jake is a good seizure guy.
Are you lonely? If so, here is the solution according to experts. In order to cure your loneliness, all you need is a third place. And if you're not sure what that is, let me tell you. Third places are settings that a person frequents that are beyond their home or their work. So your home is your first place. Your work is your second place. Mm-hmm. You need to find a third place.
Bar?
It can be a bar. It can be a pickleball club. It can be a park. It can be...
Park? Ugh.
Yeah, a park.
What are you,
where
duck?
You sit on a...
Stupid third place.
It could be a mall.
Find a better option
Another
than a park.
example they gave was a makeshift clubhouse.
Yeah.
Or a virtual setting like next door. And that's where people who are lonely feel like they're less lonely because they're a part of some kind of community. But if you find, or it could be a religious place if you're into that, any third place, if you can latch on to it, you're going to meet people as a result of that, and then you will no longer be lonely.
Right, you got to be a regular. You got to commit to whatever that third place is going to be.
Or it could be a coffee shop.
You got to be kind of a regular there.
Yeah.
And then eventually you start doing that whole
where's that weird guy in the corner? Let's go talk to him.
Yeah, that's that person that doesn't buy a drink and just uses the Wi-Fi for 3 hours.
And he said, this is my third place.
Yeah, get out of here.
All right, people are starting to plan their summer travel, but the question is, are you truthful with your boss about how many days you need off and for what reason? They did a survey and they discovered 78% of people now do not take their regular PTO days off because they feel pressure from their boss. They don't want the boss to think that they're a slacker. Mm-hmm. So instead, they take what's called a secret vacation, where they appear to be working, but they will be out of town, and they won't tell anybody that they're out of town. Some of them will even go so far as to schedule messages and emails to send outside of these hours to seem like they're currently working, even though they're not. Vanessa did that when she took her time off. We would get emails from her. I'm like, why is she working? And she's like, I scheduled it. Yep. I'm not working.
I know, it's crazy. Virtual Vanessa is way friendlier than real Vanessa.
What?
Yeah, Thanks for watching some of our radio show. We've got to get these cameras back to Best Buy before the 30 days runs out. So in the meantime, you can check out our radio show, which is available to listen to every day live on KROQ or the podcast.
Yes, if you download and subscribe to the podcast, you can save a morning show in need.
That's us.
We're very much in need. We're thirsty. Thirst trap.